What if I told you that recruiting adult leaders is actually quite easy? It's all a matter of approach. Hey, ScouterStan, let's talk about that. Recruiting adult leaders is more than just handing out the adult application. There's a little more to it, and it is a very important subject. Having the adult leaders available for your program is critical to the overall safety. As we know through youth protection training, we need 2 deep leadership. That's the minimum. Now, we'd love to have more, but the thing is, that is a requirement for your safety. It also helps give back to the community. The adult leaders are there to mentor and coach youth into a proper direction for their leadership. Even behind the scenes, if you're in a committee, there's treasurer and quartermaster and all the other departments. It is amazing. They should be teams. We need teams of adults in the background doing advancement, doing treasurer, doing fundraisers, working on camping trips. This is all stuff that can be happening in the background or in what we call scout facing. So both of them need adult leaders. Identifying the position needs of your unit is critical. There is what we call the key 3. You have to have your Cub Master, your committee chair, and your chartered organization rep. These are the key 3 in a pack. In a troop, we just take out the Cub Master and we put in the Scoutmaster. So that's your key 3 there. So there's the key 3 are very important, and usually those are positions that are absolute. Without them, you don't have a unit. It can just go off the cliff, and you don't want that. There are other critical positions. You have to have a committee. You have to have all the different parts of a committee. There's a lot of different ones, everything from advancement to quartermaster. You got it all. There's a lot in between, and that has to be working too. So there's a lot of critical positions, and the understanding what you need. Every unit will have someone that they have to have, that they need to put somebody in that position. If you're doing your recruitment, you'll have the ability to do that. Being able to work with your adult leaders. Sometimes in some units, it becomes necessary to have one adult leader do 2 full jobs. That's not a good thing. You want to prevent that as much as possible. No matter what size of group you're in, there are a lot of adults that are not pulling their weight. Okay, we know those parents. We need to change that, and that's important, because when we're working on projects for the benefit of their youth, it's time for them to step up. It's time to get that process going so that we can delegate and get those tasks out to get things done. That's the important part of having that adult leadership, that team put together, so you can delegate the many tasks that are needed, so that so it's not overwhelming for just one person. That you don't want to do, and it is an ongoing process. In fact, I did a video about delegation right up there. So check out the delegation one. That's a good one, video, mainly to help scouts delegate and to help scout leaders also delegate. You have to have that group. Delegation is not just giving up what you want to, you don't want to do it, so you give it to somebody else. No, you know that they can do it well, and they will do it well. So that's the kind of task you give them. So that's the wonderful thing about delegation. But you got to have people, right? So let's look into that. Now, one of the big things is you're looking for willing, not perfect. Okay? One of the big myths is in order to be a scout-facing leader, you have to be a former youth Eagle Scout or in scouting. No. Any adult leader has the skills that we need. Okay? And that's the important bit. We need to have them be willing to step up. We need to have them to do that. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to have experience. So dispel that right away. Make sure that the adults that you're talking to or working with know that you're not wanting absolute perfection. Okay? You just want them to be willing to lend a helping hand. That is so liberating to tell that to volunteers. You want them just to help. They don't have to do things above and beyond and be perfect. After all, the best leaders are the ones that are committed to helping out and are willing to learn. Those are the ones are going to make your unit shine and really succeed. Using the personal ask. This is a critical communication skill. Being able to ask an adult to take on some small task. Every unit should have teams, an advancement team of several people. There should be a Scoutmasters team of many, if a lot, of Assistant Scoutmasters. Okay? You can give them small assignments. You can do that. If you're in a pack, you have a team wherever you look. You have your different dens are a team. Okay? Not the scouts, but the scout leaders are a team that works on bear, because that's their bear den, okay, and those work together along with a den chief. So there's at least 3 that are in that team to do the whole thing for the bears. Okay, so that's very true for a troop. You have your committee, you have your scout facing, you have your backstage, all the different things. They should be groups of people so that nobody is overwhelmed, and that those tasks can be handed over and moved on, okay, and then get experience and build that up. That is very important when you're looking at the big picture of bringing in new adults all the time. You need that. You need to bring them in. And bringing them in is not always a small thing. It might be you recognize an adult leader has incredible leadership skills. Incredible, okay, through profession or whatever. You just see it. You approach them and say, I think it would be wonderful if you helped out in the committee, okay? Maybe be the associate or assistant committee chair. That'd be a great position. Try it out. See if you like it. Maybe you'll like doing treasury work or quartermaster or advancement or, there's other departments, but just try it out. Just be the backup. That would be a wonderful thing to get those major positions really covered. There should always be at least an assistant scoutmaster that can take over the scoutmaster's position. There should be an assistant committee chair that can take over as the committee chair. So those are critical 3. Those need to be secured. They need to have a backup. And those teams have that. That's the wonderful thing about all the different teams working together. Remind new volunteers that what they're considering, they have training. There's an online training available. There's all kinds of live trainings that they can go to also. And They'll never be absolutely alone. 2D leadership, you have somebody that's there that's going to mentor them in their position. So that is a wonderful thing. They're not going to be just thrown to the piranhas to be eaten, okay? That doesn't happen. They're going to be somebody there to help guide them and mentor them through that process of learning what's going on with whatever position they're doing. Many hands make the load lighter. That lifts the load with many hands. So we want as many people in groups, in teams, working together for a common goal. And that is the best you can have. If you have that rolling forward, and you have your recruitment bringing in new scouts, no matter what the turnover is in the adult leadership, you can keep that coming. And that's a critical point. You want to keep that alive. You should always have that succession plan, because no matter where you are, it's going to change over time. Hey, before we go any further, I want to make sure that you know that you're invited to the campfire chat. This is a live meeting right here on this channel that we do every first Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This is a great way to ask questions and not just me, but a lot of the guests that we have on the Fireside Chat. Definitely check that out. Also, I want to thank all of the Patreon for all of their support of this channel. In addition to that, we have our own membership right here on the channel. This is a fantastic way to get involved on this channel. Definitely hit the join button. It'll give you a bunch of information that'll tell you a little bit more about that process. So definitely get involved. We're going to just jump right on back. Now let me explain some of the impact of volunteering, of getting involved. And this is critical. You need to make sure they understand. They're not going to be just thrown out there to do the job, okay? There's training, there's a lot of support. And this is critical. There's a lot of support online. There's physical. You have mentors within your own unit that are going to take them under the wing and help them through that process. It is comforting to know from a beginner's standpoint that they will not be expected to be absolutely perfect in every regard. Just willing to help. That's really what you want. Other than that, everything else just comes with time. Now, I've had adult leaders talk to me later on. They were worried. They really, really worried. And one of their biggest worries was looking silly in front of children, okay, that they didn't know. That was their words. The scouts are there to have a good time. And if they have fun or something goes wrong, that's actually a good thing, because they're given challenges to overcompensate or be able to get over. Okay, if everything was easy and everything was scripted and perfect, it'd be very boring, especially for the scouts. So they need that excitement. They need that. Okay, and as long as you are mentoring a new adult that's getting involved, make sure that they know that you're there to help and support, and be there for them. Help them. Say, hey, it's time to get back to the meeting. We need to close out the patrol meeting. Let's go. So, that's your leadership. And then they will take it on over time. They're not expected to do it immediately. We don't want perfection. In fact, perfection is very hard to train, if you ask me. So it's just willingness. That's the important bit. Making it easy to say yes. It is far easier. The no is assumed. Okay, that's already there. Okay, it's far easier to help them along give them small tasks and then praise them for that task. Say, hey, you really helped out at that blue and gold. That is awesome. I am so glad you're part of that team. I can't wait for you to help out with the Pinewood Derby. That's going to be great. Okay, I'm just going to give you you're in charge of the party because you did the blue and gold so well. So that's the thing. You want them to have that ability to say, yeah, I can do that. Get that yes. It's easier to get the yes. The no is already assumed, but you got to ask, okay? If you don't ask, it's no. It's just that simple. It's important to build a culture of involvement. Now, this should start right at the beginning of Scouting, way back in Cub Scouts. If you're in a crew and you're having a problem, you need to think way back to the days that they were in Cub Scouts. Did that pack ask their parents to do small tasks, to be involved with the pack, to help out with the pack? Did the troop that they were a part of, did they do the same? Did they get them involved in the committee? The behind the scene things with the quartermaster or treasurer or advancement or you name it. Did all that happen in the past? If you're having a problem now, that needs to be a culture of helping out. Scouting parents need to be part of that cycle, okay? That's the important bit. You need to have that parental circle that is there so that they are naturally a part of your troop or crew or pack. There's so many different things they could be doing. Now, one of the cool things, and you need to let your parents know this, if they're a registered leader, they've gone through youth protection training, and they can go on campouts and that kind of stuff. Doesn't matter if you're on the committee. These are things that the registered unit leaders can do. They can go with them, and these are the places where the Cub Scouts learn how to camp, how to put up a tent, that kind of thing. But when you get into a troop, a crew, or a ship, they get to go along and they get to be part of that. And if they have a youth that's in there, they get to witness for that firsthand them putting up that tent and all the people in their patrol cheering them on, and that kind of thing. It's just it warms the heart to see these things. There's so many scout skills that they learned, and to see it in action, not just with their youth, with your youth, okay? If you're that new parent, your youth is not the focus, okay? It's the group, it's the whole, okay? And yes, you do get to see that and take a picture, but you can't hover over them, okay? But they can learn these scout skills and really succeed. And that's where a lot of this happens, behind the scenes. So those other parents that are not registered leaders, not going on the trip, they don't get to see that. You do. And that's the wonderful thing about it. So definitely, scout skills are a huge thing. And being a part of scouting, seeing it happen, is a wonderful gift to yourself. So definitely think about that and make sure that you tell those new adult leaders, now that they're registered and they've done all the application stuff and they've got their youth protection taken care of, they can actually go on the camp out, help out. That's a big deal. We talk about scout skills a lot. In fact, right up there is a video about that. Talking about where do scouts learn these skills, okay? What skills are they? These are things that do come up. So, and being involved, scout facing, even behind the scenes. I've had committee people that were treasurers that loved to camp, and they would go with the troop and help out. So that's totally fine for that weekend or week at summer camp. They were scout facing. So that is, it's an amazing thing. As a scout leader, you know this. And to have adult parents coming in constantly to your unit. There's always something there for them to do. Let them have that wonderful experience that is so nice. It is so great, and it's important that we do that. Now, you've heard me say over and over, recruit, 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 recruit. It's true. The more you recruit, the better, okay? And there's always an opportunity to be recruiting. And it's not just the youth. They're important. That's important. Like I said earlier, every youth has got at least 2 parents that you can pull in. But you have to be recruiting. If you can keep recruiting them in, you'll get more adults involved. You got to recruit both. Recruit both. When you go to a recruitment night, say for instance the district or council has had visits in a school and they're having a school night of back to the pack or something like that, half of that group that's there, more than half of that group, are adults. Recruit them too. They should get involved. Just recruit and recruit and recruit. Now there is something that a lot of scout troops do. They have emails or an e-newsletter or something like that that they put out every month. It's important that all the unfilled positions, and when I'm talking about is the assistant positions, that needs to be filled, okay? It should never have in there, we need a Scoutmaster, oh, we need a Cubmaster, you know. No, you should have assistants always. For every position, every team that's in any unit should have assistants. It's so important. You got to be able to cover all the bases. We can't let the unit founder because of no adult leaders. That's a total disservice to the youth. Don't do that. It's important that you use newsletters. I've even seen text through the phone. I've seen group texts for all the adult leaders or all the parents. That is an important thing. There are meetings that the unit can actually put together for parents. It could be a new parent thing. It could be all kinds of stuff. And there's a lot of different things that can go on with that. Some units actually design the membership fee into the base fee for everybody. Okay, so there's a way that you can do that accounting that way, so that you do fundraisers and things like that that help subsidize or come up with a cheaper rate for the adult leadership. That could be definitely in there. That's something that each unit can do. There are different things that come into play with that. Sometimes you have adults that literally don't have any time. They have enough to get them there and bring them back, but that's it. They can't do anything else because they're, chasing that piece of cheese through the maze, okay, every single day, and they just can't do anything more, okay? Well, you got grandparents? Do you have friends? They could come and help out. So there's recruitment needs to really dive in, and sometimes it gets personal, well, especially with parents. You have to ask. The assumed answer is no, but if you don't ask, you'll never get that yes. That's important. Make sure that you ask, and it's not a big ask. It could be, can you help out with, when they're setting up the tables, could you do the tablecloths? That's a simple thing, okay? And make sure that when you set a task, that you make sure that you recognize that task. It doesn't have to be a big, let's give applause for this person for putting the tablecloth. No, you, because you asked, need to go and ask and thank them from your heart and say, thank you for doing that. That was a big relief. You did a great job. It's wonderful. I'm glad you are stepping up and really doing things for the benefit of the pack or the troop or whatever, it is something that you need to do. And keep it personal, and keep assigning small tasks, and keep thanking them and meaning it. That's the other part of it. They have to be able to mean it. Getting parents to step up is a huge thing for every unit. We need to fill every position. We need to get them trained. We need to get them registered. We need to make sure that they have the proper training. And then from there, it's just a matter of having them participate. Remember to ask them to do small things at the beginning before taking on any major roles. And then, as that progresses, make sure that they get praised by you. You ask them, so you got to do the praising. If they messed up, don't bring up every little thing, okay? They were there when others weren't. So make sure that you give them praise. And that's the big thing. Make sure that that's there. We do a lot for our scouts, and we have to keep scouting alive and vibrant. Otherwise, their unit is just going to run aground. It's not going to succeed. And we need adult leadership behind the scenes and scout facing. We need both, okay? And everything should be a team. Always remember that. Everything is a team. There's more than just one. If something happens to that one, you're going to have a real problem in your unit. Okay? You should always have the succession plan. What happens when their kid turns 18? What happens when they cross over and no longer in the pack? These are things we have to face, and we do that all the time. I want to personally thank you for being in scouting and doing all the hard work that you do. We've got to keep our scouts units healthy, safe, a good environment to succeed in, and that's a wonderful thing. And if you're interested more about what leadership, what's in it for leaders, adult leaders, check out this video. It's kind of inspiring. So, till next time, I'll see you on the trail.